Hello there. There are three major ways in which we decide to make good choices for our lives. Specifically, three major theories of which people decide how to make good choices and how to be a good person. The first of which is the deontological approach. This is simply following rules or laws. So, of course, there's federal laws, state laws, local laws, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about, even though it's in the same vein. With these kind of rules and laws, it's stuff like, well, don't be rude to people, don't cut in line, don't cut someone off in traffic. Things that aren't technically illegal, but things that make you towards being a good person, and you follow those rules. The second approach is the teleological approach. This is simply a form of goal setting. So if you go a whole month without making someone upset, or you go a whole week of doing something nice for someone every day in a row, then you reward yourself. Now, the final approach is the ontological approach. This is simply about your character, and this is an overview, flyover. Well, is this a good person or not? Let's look at every aspect. To illustrate this, I will use a case study. Over the past 3 years, I've worked for a painting crew over the summer, and at the end of last summer, one of my coworkers was telling me that his nephew was moving in with him. Now, this nephew, his name's John. He's 30 years old. I guess he was 29 at the time. And he made some pretty bad decisions in life. For example, he is paying child support to 2 different women, so a very large percentage of whatever he makes goes straight to that. He doesn't get much money from it. Another thing is that John used to be a professional truck driver. That is, until he was found guilty of 2 separate DUI charges. Not while he was driving truck, while he was partying on the weekend. But either way, because of those, he can't be a truck driver anymore, ever, for his whole life. And then over the past few years, he's had his license suspended as well. He currently hasn't gotten his driver's license back yet. It's been 4 years now. And so he's not allowed to drive for a bit. He's had 2 DUIs. He's paying child support to 2 different women. And his uncle, the guy who I worked with, he said, yeah, Jonathan's an idiot. You can't fix stupid or whatever. So when John showed up to work, I didn't have super high expectations. But while I was working with him, I found out that he was a pretty great guy. I mean, he was a hard worker. He put his best foot forward. He always knew what he was doing. He was always kind and considerate of the rest of us. He was always watching out for us, making sure we knew what we were doing. He was always very helpful to everyone. He's a great conversationalist. He'll talk with anyone about anything. He's not rude. He's overall just a really great guy. And I loved getting to talk with him this past summer. He was working the whole summer. He's a great guy. He's had 2 DUIs, and he had 2 unfortunate incidents. Now he's paying child support to a couple different women. That's pretty bad. If you're setting goals for yourself, you would have failed those goals. If you set rules for yourself, you would have failed those rules. But guess what? John is a great guy, and I love working with him. He's such a nice person. He has exceptional character. And just because he's made those 4 mistakes doesn't mean he's a bad person. It's just that with his character, he's made up for those. So that is why I like the ontological approach, because even with mistakes, even with goals you haven't met, you can still have great character and be a great person. That is why I like the ontological approach the best.